the same.
Well, it's some amount of chemical reaction at its core.
No, there's no DMT in your brain, dude.
I've taken many psychology classes. I've never once heard that.
There's DMT in babies.
Maybe I'm just reading this from somewhere.
No, I think I told you that.
Good job spreading false
Yeah, you probably
It's
do.
not false information. He misremembered it. There's small amounts of DMT in a baby's brain, but not an adult human.
So we should harvest DMT from babies.
No, because it's a minimal amount. You could get way more DMT from the ayahuasca vine, bro.
Yeah, but what if
then you get freaking blazed?
What if baby DMT is like crazy because it's authentic?
It's all the same chemical, dude.
Yeah.
It is very interesting though when you get like down to it. You know, like we were saying, like we do not know why dreams occur in the first place. You know, we don't know why we get transported.
It's hard for me to assign scientific logic to my dreams when I dream the weirdest shit. It doesn't make any fucking sense.
But the thing is, though, is it depends on like who you ascribe to. Like there's like theories like Jungian theory where like he ascribes meaning to all dreams, but then there's like
archetypes and stuff.
Exactly, but then there's also at the same time there's just like the general. I think the general consensus is that in psychology, dreams and sleep obviously are utilized to like keep us sane and prevent us from having psychosis, and to also implant like help reiterate like things that you experience throughout the day or whatever. But then
in like regular science, they just say it's random neurons firing off in your head.
So I get that that's a thing, but I just
do
can't.
you guys think that they
associate that with what I
do? You guys think that?
Well, that just doesn't make sense to me because it's like, why wouldn't it just be a bunch of random images instead of like a cohesive?
It's like
it's not always cohesive though. A lot of the times it just doesn't make sense.
But it's like it's not just like flashing a smell or a picture or something like that.
You know,
I feel like that's what a random neuron. I mean, I'm not educated on the subject, but I feel like that's what a random neuron would do. Just flash some sensory.
Well, obviously, this is what random neurons are doing when you're sleeping.
I feel like it, and it's hard to tell because I
don't know if that's correct,
maybe it's our human tendency to create patterns out of things that we see in our brains.
But the thing is that like
isn't that a human tendency to keep us alive?
I mean, if you take about it, for example, like if we walked outside into the dark right now, and we'd see patterns in the dark because we'd be like, oh my gosh, is that a threat kind of thing, you know?
Oh yeah, so I think it's the same thing that's going on in your brain when you're dreaming. Maybe it's just random shit going on.
That's kind of how you lucid dream too.
But here's the interesting thing though, is that we don't have the ability to like view a dream, right? Outside of when we ourselves are dreaming. But the thing is like the way we experience it is like we don't know how it actually presents, you know? Like we don't know if it is just a bunch of random images and we just like make everything make sense, you know?
I think that's what I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
To me, I don't know.
Yeah, I love dreaming though.
Do you
even when it's scary?
So what do you guys think about the psychological interpretation of them? Do you think there's something to it?
Sometimes I think that it is. Because and we can go around and kind of have our own examples of this. But mine is, I was thinking about it, I kind of told some of you guys about it in the group chat. But I had this weird dream, and it was, if I'm thinking really hard about something the night before, it'll come up in my dream.
Oh yeah.
But as repressed things, I had, basically, I remember less and less as time goes on, obviously, because it's a dream. But it was something where it was I was doing stuff with my brother, and we were smoking weird weed, and I turned into, I saw myself turning into this weird weed monster. And then it was the crux of it was
so did you see it
sinister thing with weed?
Were you a third party overlooking yourself?
Yes.
It's fucking crazy.
Yeah, that's why it was weird. It wasn't me being oh, my hands. It was me seeing myself and being that's me. I don't know if it really looked like me, but it was that's me. Oh.
In one of my
it was gruesome too. It wasn't simple. It was very much uncanny valley, morphing and painful. It was really gruesome. And I'm thinking I don't have thoughts like that generally. I'm not just
Maybe
thinking like, what if I turned into a weed monster right now? Like
know,
it works. I don't think about
maybe,
that.
But the thing is, though, is like you don't even like you say that, right? But at the same time,
you don't know what your brain is trying to
fires
tell.
off like 50,000 thoughts a day, and maybe perhaps like
Exactly.
that thought comes up, but you're just like your brain just immediately discards it, and you're not aware of it. You know, you get what I'm saying? Like, who knows if you're not really cognizant of all the thoughts that are in your head. Like, I'm sure if you really like work,
if I got to use 100% of my brain,
you already do, buddy.
Everyone's superhuman. I hate that shit. We can talk about that another time. But.
You know what's dope?
It is stupid. Why would you only use a little bit of your brain?
You know the thing I love about dreaming though is like, it's like sometimes you can look at something in a dream and it like just gives you this feeling that like if you were just observing something in real life, you wouldn't necessarily get like a super strong feeling, but in dreams I get like these really strong emotions or feelings attached to just like a vision of something.
Well, and that's where the whole theory about, you know, like there being some meaning to it comes from, is like, you know, and this is the weird thing about it, is like in Jungian psychology, essentially what Jung said was that everyone has dreams, of course, and dreams do have meaning, but each dream will have a different meaning for every person. And he says to look at your dreams based upon your emotions and your emotional responses within your dreams to whatever's occurring within it, to try and diagnose and like dissect the dream and see what it means.
Dude, I used to have dreams about storms all the time, especially tornadoes. Like I can recall at least.
Because then that's like recurring, and that's definitely like psychological.
Yeah, that's like signifying like
it might have been
destruction.
just that I was afraid of tornadoes, dude.
So what did you think? What do you think? Let's psychologically analyze this shit.
then.
Well, hold on.
So what is?
First
do you
of all,
have any vivid ones that you remember?
Yeah, I have at least two.
All right, splig it to us.
All right, so there was this winding road, right? And it was dark out, but not like super dark. It was like the clouds were blocking the sunlight, kind of dark, you know.
So just like a cloudy day.
And it was kind of ominously green, bro.
Is green?
Yeah, bro. Outside.
Like the sky was green, or?
Yeah. And I was driving on this highway, and it was long and curvy.
Was it like in the I-70 or?
No, it was Fantasyland.
Was
So
it
it
like
wasn't like a
mountainous or?
It was hilly, green. Like probably something I'd see in fucking eastern Kansas, bro.
Okay.
And
But it wasn't like a location that you recognize.
no.
Okay, so if it's
Usually
Kansas,
isn't.
then yeah, Kansas has tornadoes all the time.
well, he wasn't saying it was Kansas. He was just describing it as.
Yeah.
Kansas
I'm
light.
just trying to see if maybe there was an event that may have that he's repressing.
Yeah, so I remember the road was super curvy, so I was going up it around the curves, and this fucking huge tornado was following it and picking up all the cars behind me, throwing them all over the place. And it was just steadily getting closer. And then I have this other dream where I remember like it was in my house, out of my screen door. I was looking into the backyard, and my sister was in the living room, and I was like, Emily, there's a tornado. And there's just this fucking tornado like barreling to us, like fucking picking up houses and shit. And I was like staring at it, just completely mortified.
Okay, so your sister was there.
Yeah,
So what was occurring in your waking life when those dreams happened?
I have no idea.
Because that's the thing, is like that's where it relates.
It had to have come from somewhere.
Probably the fear of tornadoes.
Or it could have been
So
like,
did it used to be a really big thing that you were like
Yeah,
afraid
I
of
used
them?
to think about tornadoes a lot.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's probably
Yeah.
just your fear of tornadoes coming out in your
That's simple.
subconscious.
Bam! Give me my fucking degree. You have been analyzed.
Dream
Yo, I
science.
have this other dope dream. It's always storms, dude. Those are always my significant dreams. But I had this other dream where I was like in this lighthouse, and it was like lightning flashing and shit, and there's clouds above, and there's this long gangplank, dude, that led out from this lighthouse. And there's something at the end of the gangplank, bro. Like a pirate ship one. And I had to crawl across it. But I looked down and there's like this churning ocean water, dude, while the lightning was flashing. And
I need to start writing my dreams down.
Oh, I do.
Dude,
when I have a vivid one,
I do that for a long time.
When I have a vivid one, I write that shit down.
I should do that.
I was just crawling.
Hey, do you guys have any really significant ones? Like what do you guys think are the most significant dreams you've ever had? Like the ones you remember the best.
I just have like very like impressionable ones. But can I talk about like this weird thing that I have like during naps?
Yeah, dude.
So I never napped, right? But there's been 2 times that I've napped, like the most 2 recent times that I've napped, and like when I nap, my dreams are so weird. Like it's weird because it's like I'm not fully asleep, so like it's like I see the dream, but it's like a faded image of a dream, right? But I've had this weird thing the last 2 times that I've napped where I'm like sitting there, and I'm like, you're dying right now, while I'm napping, which is the weirdest thing.
Damn,
and I'm like totally like, and I'm just like, this is the thing. Like the most recent time that I had it, like I was like, it was just weird. I can't even like describe what it was, but I had this like thing, and I was like, you're dying right now or whatever. And I've like got into meditation and stuff, you know. So like I was cognizant of that, so I was like meditating, you know, trying
like
to like
in your dream you were meditating? Or?
No, it wasn't a dream though. It was like I had my eyes closed, and it's kind of like maybe I kind of get like sleep paralysis to an extent when I nap, I think, and like, you know, I just had my eyes closed and like it was just really weird, and so I was like, you're dying.
You're aware that you're dreaming, but you can't do
it. Yeah, but it was weird because the awareness I had was that in my dream or whatever was occurring that I was quote unquote dying, but I just remember I was like meditating through it. It just does not make any sense to me. It's just really freaking weird.
Yeah, I mean, I've on the subject of like important dreams, I was like, I don't really know, but I mean, I feel like I've told most of you guys about this, but like, you know, my fucking closet ghost.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Marsha. Yeah. Okay. So like, I don't know how much of that was real, but it was eerie to me because it was such an odd recurring dream, or like kind of, and it would always be from the fucking closet, whatever it was. Always the closet, nowhere else. Like the only one time it was somewhere else was like and this was probably the craziest dream I've ever had, is when she like, and I don't even know. I think I'm just assigning what she might have looked like. I don't know.
Well, only you can tell.
I don't really know. Even then I don't know. She would like fucking open my door, and that was like kind of a sleep paralysis moment for me too, where like I wasn't like in a dreamland. I was like in my fucking room. Right? With all my stuff in the room, and you know, I bet you I could, you know, all my shit on the wall, and it wasn't anything that was changed. And she fucking like slowly opened the door, like, cause my bed's like facing the door, and like fucking crawl around my bunk bed, and like got fucking like this close to, and that's the only time I've ever seen any part of her face.
That sounds horrifying.
But it was like covered up by hair. Yeah, it was fucking scary. And like she fucking got like right here. And I've had a couple dreams like this, and as soon as I could move, I fucking got out of my bed and ran. And this is what's the weird part was about it, is that I basically woke up in the kitchen, if that makes sense.
Oh, like, so you're just like sleepwalking
when I was in the kitchen, and then I was like, okay, now I'm awake and I have all of my, but I wasn't in like a dream. I wasn't in dreamland. I was just in my house.
Okay, so you know what's a really weird thing about that is, you remember that one night we like went there to your house and we all got like really fucked up one night? I remember I went into the basement and I don't know like what it was, but I was like down there by myself and I just had this like, I can't remember it, but I know I had a really weird ass experience.
You were like drunk as fuck.
No, I know, but I'm just saying.
You were fucked up.
I know I was really fucked up, but I'm just saying, I remember like I had this like experience and I don't know what it was, but it was like really, really weird. I don't know. I can't remember it, but it was just like weird and unsettling.
Like a dream, or?
No, it wasn't a dream. I was fully awake.
Like a hallucination? I think you mixed both. You smoked weed. You smoked a little bit of weed too.
Yeah, but I don't. But the thing is like, when I'm on pot, like on pot.
When I'm
on pot, like
when I'm on DMT, I'm seeing lizard people.
I guess like it's not like I hallucinate, but like before. Okay, I've seen a KKK member before when I was driving, when I was longboarding, and I looked and it was just like the shadow. You know, like I didn't actually like think it was there, but I was like, what the?
It looks like a KKK person.
Yeah, but
Was I with you then? I think you were telling me. Maybe you were telling me about it.
I told you about it. I don't know. But it was weird. I swear, like I totally had an experience, and it had something to do with like in that basement. You know, like there was like all those rooms right there, and I was like in the living room, and it was something like the living room down there, and it was something to do with that. And I remember I was like freaked out, and I came upstairs.
Yeah, that like propelled you to go somewhere. I've had tons of dreams like that, and the eerie thing about it is that like. It's got to be something with the house because, like, ever since I moved from there, because I was just like a regular thing. Like, I was used to it.
So you just had these.
But ever since I've been sleeping in my new place, I have never had a dream like that.
So you thought it was real, though.
Well, yeah, because it felt real. So I don't know if it's.
I think so. The way you described it, you had It seemed like you said you couldn't move, right?
Yeah, so that's my whole thing is like I might have been having like sleep paralysis.
Yeah.
But it's weird because I have never had that problem before.
So and then it just ended here.
Yeah, I haven't had any scary dream that I've had has not been like that, you know, that vivid. And it's been other things too. It's been like, you know, I see this big green bug that I think is real, and I'm like, oh, and I like scream too. Because you know, all my parents and my brother, they're like right next to my room, and they would like say like I would like scream and go like oh shit and like run out of my room as if like you know as if it was like I believed it was real. And I was like, what the fuck is happening in my house right now?
See, I've done that too before. It's like I've had dreams like that, which I don't know if like it is sleep paralysis or what, but I just know that I've like had dreams before that I've like physically woken up and screamed.
That's the closest I've been to like legitimate fear, because I don't know, it takes a lot to scare me, honestly.
I just think sleep is crazy shit, dude. Mm-hmm. Your brain is like going crazy.
That's why I love dreaming. That's why I sleep so much. I don't even care if it's a bad dream. I just love it.
Yeah.
I don't know. I hate. Do you guys ever have those dreams where it's just like you dream, you wake up and you just feel an emotion, but you don't. There wasn't any image to.
No.
You just felt it. You just felt something.
But then
like,
I'll forget about it like 5 minutes later.
Yeah,
for me, it's like.
Write it down.
For me, I've woken up and it's just been total fear when I wake up, and I don't remember what the dream was about.
Yeah, just kind of like cold sweat.
Yeah.
There's, you know, I've had. The weird thing is I've never had a dream stick with me, but this is like a weird thing. It's like I had a dream like 2 or 3 nights ago. Like I haven't gone and seen a therapist in like a month or something, but for some reason my therapist was there, and she said to me, she's like, yeah, you know, like it was weird. I met her in a casual place, and she's like, yeah, you know, like we were talking before, I don't think it's a good idea for you to have kids because of your OCD and schizophrenia. And I'm like, I don't have schizophrenia. First of all,
why are you assigning these things
I don't know.
to me, therapist?
But it was weird though, because like I had like this like, and this was not last night, but it was the night before, and like the whole day yesterday, like I had this like I don't know, like I had that like sinking feeling, like oh shit, like I shouldn't be a parent like all day.
So that's probably like a feeling that you had that you're repressing.
But I've always
Maybe
wanted
it's
kids though.
Yeah, I don't know. You want?
And you still want kids.
Yeah, I still want kids, but I don't know why I was like, you have
I
schizophrenia.
just want a girlfriend, man.
Yeah.
I don't.
Yeah, I mean,
I want a
step
vasectomy.
You can get a surrogate kid. A surrogate for your kid. Just be like,
Well,
let me inseminate you and I'll take care of whatever comes out.
I think
Can I have an
maybe
adopted kid?
I mean, I've always wanted a kid, and the only subconscious fear that I have that I can like really place on it is, so when I was a sophomore in high school, I had a niece and she passed away after like 5 days.
Oh,
and so like that whole
you were
like
telling me about that.
yeah, so like the whole like birth thing, I guess, like really freaks me out, the pregnancy thing. So maybe
Like the
like
possibility like stillbirth and like miscarriages.
yeah, well, because she wasn't even stillborn. She just like had shit happen, and it's just like, and I don't know if like maybe that is where it's coming from. Is
Well,
that,
that's
like,
a very,
fear.
Everyone has fears like that because it's always a possibility.
Yeah, but I don't know if that like how like my therapist told me I have OCD and schizophrenia, which doesn't make any
She's never hinted at that before, or like.
No, I've never had like OCD. Yes, but like schizophrenia.
Do you have legit OCD? Like,
yeah, no, I have
you
legit
freak out
OCD.
like this needs to be exactly
people
like this,
misunderstand.
or-
It's a lot of different
No,
things.
OCD.
People misunderstand.
Yeah.
Like
It's
the
not
actual
always like,
disorder?
I need to sort all these Skittles. Like that's a part of it, but
It's
it's
not
not.
organizational compulsive disorder, it's obsessive compulsive disorder.
Well, like my OCD has been transformative. So when I was like 13 or 14, that's when I first got it. And when I first got it, I would have to, like, I did have a lot of like the physical compulsions. Like I would have to get a plastic water bottle at the walk upstairs at 7:58 every night. Get the plastic water bottle that's by my bed. Go downstairs, pour it out, fill it up. Then at night I could only drink a certain amount of it, just like a little bit. I couldn't drink past it. And that night I had to move my bed back and forth like 250 times or until it felt right for me before I could go to sleep. And every night I had to tell my parents, I'd have to say, night mommy, love you, night dad, love you, when I was like a 13-year-old kid. And like I had like these, and like the thing is like now my OCD is like more so obsessional, and it's just like thought based. It's not like physical compulsions. So like for me, it's like, dude, like you're dying right now, or like what if like you're having a heart attack, or it goes into like, dude, like what if you're a bad person? What if you're like a serial killer? What if you, like it goes to those intrusive thoughts that I had a conversation about because I was like,
that's another kind of thing. Intrusive thoughts, man.
and dude, I get plagued by them so bad. Like now it's more so like PTSD from intrusive thoughts, but like I was going through a period there. That's why I was so jacked up mentally, is because, and this is like the OCD part, like where it came up, but like I'd have like these like crazy images in my head where I'd be like standing next to my mom and see a knife, and I'm like, holy shit, like I just would see it in my head, you know, and I could just not let that shit go, and I'd place it on myself. And that's what like OCD is in that sense, is like the difference between an OCD mind and, you know, like neurotypical mind is like with thoughts like that, you guys can like just like let them go. But for me, like I actually like,
yeah, it's hard to get rid of it.
yeah, because it's like it's so fundamentally against me as a person too, you know, and it's just like those like, oh shit, like what if you actually like did that, you know, and like I don't know, like the best way I can describe it is like living in your own personal hell. Damn, that I don't know. Sorry.
This is a good podcast, so I might actually post this one.
But I think it's like good though, because like the thing is like I think people just don't have a concept of like OCD and like shit like that, you know. Like people don't talk about that shit because like that shit is like
educate
the deepest.
yourself.
But that's like the deepest, darkest shit. Like I'm not kidding you. Like when I've had that shit, what it feels like to me is like my soul gets ripped out of my body, torn to shreds, and like shit on by Satan. Like, oh my god.
Damn.
Then I get anally butt raped. Like, no, but I'm saying, like, and it's just weird to me too, because like, I don't know, you guys all know me, like I'm a kind, caring, and loving person, you know? And that shit just like,
No, you don't, we hate you. We're gonna stab you right now.
it's okay.
Yeah, Zach.
No, but like, it's just weird because it's just like, I don't know, it's like, why the fuck does the brain do that shit, you know?
Yeah, that's why I like have a hard time when people say shit like, when people make like the huge like generalization that like, oh, humans just dumb monkeys, like
Yeah.
like I don't think people realize how complex we actually are.
We are very complex.
Mm-hmm.
Well, and that's the interesting thing is my like my therapist, like the first time I ever told her about this stuff, like I showed up and I like bursted into tears, you know, the first time.
Yeah.
I saw her and I like cried for like an hour and I don't cry, and she told me, and she repeatedly told me, she's like honestly, I think you're like, she thinks that I'm like really intelligent, and she said she's like, think about like the philosophers of the world, like they reside on the edge of like madness in terms of driving them mad because they overanalyze everything and think about everything and like I don't know, interesting shit.
Yeah, dude.
Dreams in the brain.
You're a genius.
I'm not a genius, but
You're a freaking genius.
So why don't we go around talking about the craziest dream we've ever had?
I already gave mine.
So
Who hasn't? I feel like we all kind of did that.
I didn't say it.
Are they good?
So
I'll tell you the scariest dream I ever had.
shit.
So this is one that I remember from like sophomore or junior year of high school, and so I'm up in a high place, looking through a telescope, and across the way, somewhere in the distance, I see there's like this. It's almost like a big structure, like a scaffold or something, and there are people working on it, and I'm just looking at it through this telescope lens, and then I see this guy fall off the edge of it, and this is like 10 stories up, and then I keep following him down on his fall, and then he hits the ground, and I hear it like as if he was right next to me, and the kind of sound you'd make when you fall, and it's like a big splat, and you know,
I feel like it would be a
freaked
splat
me out.
sound.
I don't know what.
Or like a crunch. Or...
Yeah, it'd be a crunch.
I don't know.
You guys want to go find out?
But yeah, it was
Intrusive
not
thought. No, I'm just kidding.
it's probably. And then I remember it was the emotion that I had with it that freaked me out.
Was it like joy?
It was just
You're like, yeah, die.
it was just this total like traumatic, horrifying experience.
Well, yeah, that would be traumatic if you actually saw it.
Yeah, and seeing it in this dream freaked me out because I thought it was real.
And your brain like fabricated what that would look like. Have you ever seen that before?
No.
Yeah.
Did you?
Dude, I'll tell you, the most fucked up thing I ever saw was that car accident, bro. That was
Yeah,
the
that's
worst thing
kind
I've
of stuck
seen.
with you. You were like talking about that a lot.
Yeah,
You
man.
still think about it?
I mean, not unless I want to. Sometimes I just like to mull over it, see all the details, you know. But yeah, I'll tell you my scariest dream ever. It's gonna sound retarded, but it was literally the most terrifying dream I've ever had. So I was in my house with my family. Like my entire family was in the living room. My dad was sitting on the edge of the staircase just playing his banjo. And I looked up, and from my parents' room, at the top of the stairs, this freaking big monster walks out. And it's like a big cotton ball. With legs and arms and spiky teeth. And I just saw him and I felt like utter horror, and then walks down the stairs, picks up my dad, and eats him.
Damn.
Like swallows him whole, like
Swallows him
munches
whole.
on him.
So it's like a big,
Damn.
just like a big cotton ball.
I just kind of imagine like the Michelin Man.
No, it's not like it's like a ball, like actually.
So that's kind of what I was thinking.
Shit!
The
You
doctor
just
touched
triggered a dream memory. No, keep going. Yeah.
Well, that's it. And it was the most terrifying dream I've ever had.
you. That would be scary.
So I'd say my most terrifying dream is probably the rapture dream. Did I tell you about that? I think
Dude,
I
I
told.
was gonna tell you this dope ass dream that I had where I died. It was pretty cool. I mean, it wasn't like super scary or anything either. I've had a lot of dreams where I die, but I'm conscious that I'm dead. It's weird. And,
I haven't-
and then I have like neutral feelings about it. It's
Huh.
weird.
I've never actually. I don't know if I've actually died in a dream, but
I haven't
Because
like
you know, if
that.
you die in a dream, you die in real life, dude.
how would anyone know that? Who is? How? There's no way to prove that.
There's no
Yeah,
way
dude, have you
to-
seen Inception?
It's the
Fucking
portals, man.
stupid.
But
Yeah.
yeah, my freakiest dream was probably my rapture dream. So everything was all dismal. This was when I was in elementary school, and they used to. You know how at Lincoln they would have announcements,
I didn't go to elementary school in Lincoln,
but
I went to middle school.
Ben knows how they used to have announcements in the like every Monday morning before class. They would get the whole school in front of the main building, and then Miss Mahoney would say some shit. And
Oh,
say
was that when she had the fucking
the microphone.
the thing?
The what? What?
The business
The
thing?
The fucking my brain spaced out, dog.
Okay, what? Continue.
So yeah, so they would like raise the flag up, and we'd all say the Pledge of Allegiance. And so I had a dream that we had the whole class there for one of these Monday morning announcements, and it's a gray sky, and it started getting it just had an ominous tone to it. But then the announcement that Miss Mahoney made was, it's like, yeah guys, today's the rapture. And then I started just freaking out. I was thinking, I don't want the world to end yet. I don't want it to end. And
What, did you get raptured?
well, no, and then the world just starts, like, just my vision starts fading to black, and I start freaking out, and it was fucking scary. And I think it's probably because,
Were you probably just learned about it?
no, I'd known about it, but I remember it being a big source of fear for me as a kid.
Yeah.
But
Well, I mean, it's
good
scary.
thing, yeah.
Scary idea.
But now I don't.
For a kid.
Now that I don't believe in it, it doesn't frighten me.
But if the rapture happened, you fucking sinner, you'd have to sit on here where the world ended, and all the rest of us got to fuck biddies in heaven.
So my weirdest dream, I just remembered this when Ben was talking about round things. So it was really weird because like this dream, I'd walk into my parents' my bedroom was right here, my parents was right here, like really close, just like across the hallway, like a small little hallway.
You gotta say that one dream
What?
with your dad.
Yeah, I'll say that dream. Make it
Did
funny.
you fuck your dad?
No, I'll tell you
Suck your
later.
dad's toes?
I'll tell you later. I'll tell you after this one. But it was weird because I'd walk into the room, and this was a reoccurring dream, and I can't even describe it. So I'd see there'd be someone in there, and it would I don't know, everything would just start expanding. Like the person would start expanding and get bigger, and it was like a silent dream, but it wasn't. And it was just really weird because their face and stuff would. And it was weird too because they'd look at I can't even do it, dude. It's freaky. They'd look at me in the weirdest face, and they just start smiling, and then they'd get bigger. Dude, I'm not kidding you. When I think about it, it sends chills through me.
So like the airhead,
Kinda.
in those old airhead commercials where their heads get it.
But it was human face in a very weird thing. It was really creepy. God, I don't know. It was weird shit.
I'm kind of thinking the
Are you
Insidious.
into inflation porn?
No.
Sure?
I would be turned off from that because I'm fucking
yeah.
terrified of it.
What is that?
But I don't even know what it is.
It's exactly what he just described, but in a sexual manner.
Does that actually exist?
Yes, it does. Would you like
So
to
this
see
is
it?
kind of what I imagined.
Not really.
I thought about the movie Insidious.
Okay.
Have you guys seen that?
I've never seen it.
So there's this one scene where the main dude he's in this other world thing, and then he shines his light on this family, and one moment they just have straight faces, and the next they're
Yeah, it's kind of like that.
like this. Here. So
It's kind of like that, but it's also weirdly.
But they're
more
expanding?
human, and it's just all expanding, and I can't even describe it. It's just the weirdest thing. But on a side note, just to lighten up the mood a little bit, the weirdest dream I've had was I walked into my parents' bedroom again, and my dad had a dildo.
Whoa! So it was a sexual dream.
My dad had a dildo shoved up his ass, and he was jacking off.
That's some serious. Have you spoken about this with your therapist?
No, I don't know.
You think dreams have a meaning, bro.
I don't know.
Sometimes you
Well,
just
why
have
would
weird
you
dreams.
just
Yeah.
think about your dad?
Well, honestly, I don't have the best relationship with my dad, and I tell him to go fuck himself a lot in my head, so maybe that's it. Maybe that's where it came from subconsciously, but I just remember I walked in and I was just like, what the
What
fuck?
are you doing, Dad?
He just had a dildo shoved up his butt.
Yeah, it's one thing if he's just jacking off. It's another thing if he's
Got a dildo shoved up. Yeah, it had the hilt.
And you gotta assume that's big enough for you to see because it's just you assume he's